you've ever been to a movie that's really exciting, I remember the first time I went and saw Rocky, and I was blessed to be able to work with actually Stallone later on. And the first thing I told Rocky, or Stallone, was that, you know, when I went and saw Rocky, after I got out of there, I noticed everybody in the audience was jumping up and down, really enthusiastic. I said, we're all going to start working out. We're all going to run on the streets just like Rocky did. And then somewhere about 2 or 3 days later, it all just kind of diminished. You know the feeling? And I asked that question also in my seminars. You know, how many of you, have taken seminars before this, self-improvement seminars, had an inspirational moment, and you declared in that moment in time that it's going to change forever. And then a couple days goes by, and you revert back to this old programming. As a dentist, I work with a lot of orthodontists. Now, if you know anything about orthodontists, the braces they put on teeth, it could take 2 years to move those teeth in the body. And then a very important phase happens. They remove the braces, the teeth look perfect. And then they put a thing called a retainer in. And the retainer must stay in that mouth for a long time, especially at night. Why would they do that after the teeth have already been moved? After we've already accomplished what we need to accomplish? Because there's body memory. And the body memory is like a rubber band effect. It just will snap back. And without conditioning that part of the body to remain that way, without sending a message to the unconscious mind that says this is a permanent conditioned response, it will revert back, not because of a decision, but because that's what it was created to do. To revert back to where it spent most of the time being established. Now, when you look at body lag, I remember when I was about 7 years old, I was running down a hill. Why? Because that's what 7-year-olds do. Running as fast as I can. It was so fun because running down that hill, I picked up a lot of speed. Somewhere about halfway down that hill, I remembered that I was going faster than my body could keep up. And there was this huge wall way closer than it looked like way up on top. And I knew that I was not going to be able to stop by the time I hit that wall. Now, my brain and my mind said, stop now. You're going to get hurt. But guess what? The momentum was already going. I was traveling through a physical dimension. My body was going. I was fast. And I had the mind thought instantaneously, stop. That will solve my problem. So the conscious mind said, stop. However, the unconscious momentum was still going. And when I got to the bottom of the hill, as much as I tried to slow down, the wall absolutely motivated me to hit that wall and stop. And that was a major learning experience. What I call this is body lag. Look, for most of our lives, especially up until the age of 7 years old, you've had this programming that has come in. It's not bad programming, it's not good programming, it's just programming like your computer. It got 95% of it in there before the age of 7 years old. That is how it's supposed to be. Now, you spend the rest of your life as you're going through the world with a conscious mind making decisions that says, make this decision, take this seminar, I feel the inspiration, it makes absolute sense, of course this is the problem, here's the solution. But immediately what starts to happen, the conscious mind then starts to try to put forward what the unconscious mind has been using, like those teeth, for most of your life. So what's the key? What do we do? First of all, just know what I've just said. Just understand that that's the process. So divine patience is key. Understand that this war that you feel, that the decisions that you make, well, look, nothing's going to stick, no matter how many seminars I take, no matter how much passion I have, a couple days goes by and it's hard again. Well, when you understand there's this body memory, this body lag, it's not really who you are, it's just in the body. It plays its way out in the unconscious mind. Just understand that that is the mechanism. That's what many of the old scriptures talk about, the war within. The Bhagavad Gita talks about the battle within. That is the battle. Now, what I do is I don't call it a battle anymore. It's just a process. You're going through the gymnasium of life where the spiritual endurance is required. You just got to make it the highest priority to, number one, understand and know what I've said is an absolute truth, that you have this old programming at war with the conscious mind, so to speak. What the key is, step 2, is the conditioning part. You must, first of all, realize it, and then whether it feels good or whether it doesn't feel good, sometimes as you move through a place in life, if you have to confront, if you have to tell the truth, it may be a little bit scary based on the programming that's under the sea down there, However, the only way to change that, the retainer that will move it and teach the unconscious mind that you are determined for a new way, is consistency. You must be consistent. And here's the third thing. When you mess up, and you will, you're going to revert back into what's called the normal world, that old programming, and you fall back onto that, is to forgive yourself. And most people are really tough on you, mostly you. So to forgive yourself, to be kind to yourself, to say, oh, okay, I just reverted back. I'm a little bit depressed. That's a signpost. I must be buying into the old programming. That's not who I am. It's just a programming. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my conscious mind like a flashlight in the dark room of the unconscious mind. I'm going to follow that beam. And when you follow that beam has an end point in the dark. All you got to do is go as far as to where that beam ends. But if you got the flashlight of an awakening mind, then when you get to that point, the beam will extend another place. And then you go to that, into that beam. And you don't have to get all the way to the end of the track all at one time. Just go to the end of the beam and keep going, keep going, keep going. And then you'll get there.